Hey everybody, welcome to Play, Rank, Share, the show where I play the marquee PlayStation 5 titles, create an ever-evolving ranking of the best PlayStation 5 games, and share my opinions with you. My name is Tyrus, and this episode is focused on Death's Door. Developed by indie studio Acid Nerve, a team so small it's only 2 people, and published by the always eclectic Devolver Digital, Death's Door has you playing as a crow, who is charged with reaping souls amongst the living. After an assignment goes wrong, you need to travel the world collecting souls from 3 key beings who refuse to die, to retrieve the original soul that started your journey in the first place. This quirky indie adventure took me about 7 hours to beat, and I'm eager to jump back in to get the true ending. Death's Door tells a provoking story in a bleak but visually pleasing world. It also offers addictively fun and at times challenging gameplay. Death's Door is one of the best total packages of a game released in 2021, and I highly recommend that everyone plays it. I think before I get too far into this review, I want to talk about what type of game Death's Door is, because my expectations were not properly set before I began playing. I initially thought that this game was going to be similar to Dark Souls, but in an indie sense, but still brutally difficult. However, I don't think that comparison is fair after playing it. Instead, I like to think Death's Door is more of a difficult version of a classic Legend of Zelda game. While it has a dark atmosphere built into the presentation of the game just like Dark Souls, Death's Door is not overbearingly difficult. The game does eventually get hard. The final boss did take me over an hour to beat, but difficulty is worked into the fabric of Death's Door as you progress. There are never large spikes in difficulty. Instead, encounters become increasingly difficult as you play, just slowly bit by bit. This made it so I never felt like the game was being unfair in how hard it was. Instead, it was a welcome challenge throughout my playtime. One great example of how difficulty is woven into the game is that every attack from enemies does the same amount of damage. Your crow has 4 bars of health at the start of the journey, and each time you get hit by an enemy, a bar of that health goes away. This is regardless of if you're facing a standard grunt that takes 1 hit to beat, or the final boss. This makes it so you must constantly be alert when battling even the grunt enemies, although health is plentiful to pick up throughout your runs if you make a mistake or two. Most of the time you spend in Death's Door is in its smartly designed dungeons. I said the game progressively gets harder, and each dungeon is harder than the one before it, but the game does a great job of ramping up the difficulty in each individual dungeon. While you begin to learn the movements of new enemy types at the start, by the end you'll be taking out 4 of them at once like it's no problem at all. The game also gradually introduces new abilities over time, such as a hook shot, fire magic, and bombs. After unlocking each of these abilities, the game teaches you how to use these abilities both in battle and during exploration. Having your arsenal unlocked slowly over time also ensured that you understand how to best use each of the items. While it doesn't push the boundaries of graphics on the PlayStation 5, I still enjoyed the art direction of Death's Door. It almost felt like an animated version of a Souls games or a Tim Burton movie. The overworld is dark and dreary, and the enemies you face are various types of monsters. The bosses you encounter throughout the game also are each uniquely designed and are large in stature to help create a menacing opponent and make it feel like the deck is stacked against your little crow protagonist. This contrast in design between your regular crow and enormous bosses made the feats you pull off feel like a Herculean task and adds substance to your accomplishments in trying to help the world. In addition to the pleasing visuals, the game has a great accompanying soundtrack that helps illustrate the hero's journey that you are on. When exploring the dungeons, there is somber piano tracks playing that highlight the mood portrayed by the dreary visuals. The music then swells when you enter one of the boss battles to a full orchestra set bombarding you throughout the difficult battle, helping add a sense of grandeur and urgency to these key moments of the story. Those of you who watch most episodes of Play, Ranked, Share know that music doesn't get mentioned much here, as it normally isn't something I notice that frequently while gaming. However, the score in Death's Door is so standout and impactful to my experience with this game, I felt like it's important to note it here. Death's Door does feel a little short overall and left me wanting to play more by the time I rolled credits. After a tutorial area, your crow is tasked with exploring 3 different areas that each culminate in a boss battle, and each of these areas took me about 2 hours to get through. While luckily there's still a little bit more content to go back to for the secret ending, I wish I could have spent more time with my unnamed protagonist during the main bulk of this game and get to explore new worlds and new settings. Death's Door is a well-crafted Zelda-inspired indie game that oozes polish. I was continually charmed by the game throughout my experience, as its dark aesthetic had shiny moments throughout with bright and unique character designs. The design of the game rewards players that hone their skill and learn to carefully time their attacks based on the movements and patterns of their opponents. Since Death's Door originally launched on Xbox earlier this year, I'm worried it's getting lost in the shuffle a bit amongst PlayStation gamers as Game of the Year discussion heats up. But this is a game that no one should be overlooking, as from start to finish it is a very engaging game. Overall, I think Death's Door is an amazing game, and I give it a score of 9 out of 10. There is no denying that Death's Door is one of the best PlayStation 5 games available currently on the console. When it comes to ranking it, I decided to place it at number 5 on my list of best PlayStation 5 games. Death's Door earns such a high ranking due to its obsessively fun gameplay that's complemented by a very polished overall package and a fun enough story that has some witty writing present throughout. When it comes time to make my Game of the Year list very soon, I'm very confident that Death's Door will be on it. I can't stress enough that this is some of the most fun I've had in a game this year. It's undoubtedly my favorite indie game of 2021, and I hope publisher Devolver Digital continues to bring high quality indie titles like this to the console. Thank you for watching this episode of Play, Rank, Share. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when future episodes are released. Up next for Play, Rank, Share is a series of videos focused on 2021 in review, including underrated games, biggest disappointments, and the all-important Game of the Year list. Do you want to see more Death's Door? Check out our early gameplay impressions on our show, The Game Receipt. What are your thoughts on Death's Door? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, don't stop sharing.